Hello! I see the assassins have failed. You might be curious how it came to pass that I ended up having a fringe encounter with JD, and so I'm here to tell you the story. Once upon a time, I was watching a video the algorithm fed me by Justin Sledge from Esoterica, which had this part I was going to bring to you eventually.
On the Gnostic train. But the central thrust shared by many of these theologies is that the true reality is a spiritual reality, not this. It's a spiritual reality presided over by an ineffable deity whose outflowing, whose emanations generated a host of beings known as the fullness, or the pleroma in Greek. However, one such entity, Sophia, or wisdom, sought to create on her own without the consent of the great invisible spirit. This mistake created a horrifying being, a nightmarish creature known variously as Saklas, Samael, Yaldabaoth, or the Demiurge. Now, unlike Platonism, Stoicism, Judaism, or other species of Christianity, for whom the creator of this world was a benevolent deity who created a maximally beautiful world, a maximally good world, these
No, that wasn't a horrible, horrible fumble. But what happened was, okay, so first I was going to bring that to you guys because there's this part in there, and hopefully I'll clean that up, where where he says Sophia made a mistake. And I was going to do this whole Sophia and the serpent thing, because how does wisdom make a mistake? How is the fall of man a bad thing if it's all part of God's plan? But anyway, he gets to this part of the video. Is this it? Yes, this is it. He gets to this part.
Remember when I said that Yaldabaoth declared that it was the only God, only to be chided from a voice from above? That chiding was actually done by the angelic power of life, Zoe, the daughter of faith wisdom, or pistis.
And when I saw that fancy token, I was like, hey, didn't I see a video by JD that said something like Abraxas that had that symbol? And so I hit them up in the Broken Clock Tower Discord and said, hey, didn't I see something you said about this symbol? And he was like, why don't we do a fringe encounter? So I was like, sure, let's do that then. And now he's here and we're doing the fringe encounter, just like that.
Hey,
now you are a master wizard.
Yes, I'm the resident
Abraxas
expert. I know everything there is to know about Abraxas. I know,
Well, I don't know about
the guy you need to go to,
sir. But you are a master reaper and loomer, and like you even do that synthwave sort of thing, putting music behind stuff. So everybody's going to get some mind controls.
I don't know about a master. Some people say the music is too loud sometimes, so I don't know if it's
Some people say what?
Some people say the music is too loud sometimes or something, so maybe.
Well, you're mastering it, and you're better than most people.
That's better. I appreciate that.
So we'll give everybody a savings throw against you and me.
Oh gosh, this is the most important savings throw of my life.
It might be. It might be survival.
I have to go
social, wisdom, or heart.
Heart.
Oh no, Indigo is off the charts table, and Survivalist though, Nat 20 today.
Damn.
Socialist
good for y'all.
Wisdom, folks, doubling that for a 16. Heart though, only a 6. But I don't know. I think you have like a standing +5 for making videos with me in it.
Awesome. That's good to hear.
Indigo guys, you made it with a 10. You made it with a 10. So no, actually, I thought I saw the video that you clipped the Abraxas stuff from. Was that Mousy Buddha, or do you remember who it was?
That was Galahad Eridanus.
Oh yeah. Big fan.
This seems like a good opportunity to mention as well. I think there are alternate pronunciations of Eridanus, like Eridanus or something. So I don't actually know which is correct. I've looked it up. There's like different ones. So So yeah, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but yeah.
He probably wants to go by Galahad anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you saw his. Do you see his conversation with Tommy from CTMU Singularity?
I think the clip of him is pretty much the only thing I've seen of his work.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, in that he talks a bit about his name and like his birth name and stuff as well. You might find that interesting.
I might indeed. What
thus begins my showing of Galahad.
But what should people in the hive mind know about you other than your work? Who are you and why you do it? Maybe.
Well, I'm not sure if you've seen. I posted 2 videos previously in which I am featured.
I saw you talking with Gavin. I didn't know it was you for sure, but yes,
that was me.
I like that one a lot.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, so there's that one, and then my conversation with Owen recently.
Who's Owen?
Owen's a guy who I met through comments on my YouTube channels. On my YouTube channel, so channels, yeah, he.
Owen the commenter. Did he have his own channel?
Well, no, yeah, he has his own channel. Well, I stumbled a bit, to be honest, because I had plans recently to do a talk with him, and I'm hoping to upload this on my channel as well. And I might like edit it up a bit if possible.
Please.
But, okay.
We love the edits. I'm
glad to hear that, man. You know, I'm always nervous sometimes about whether people. I wouldn't say I'm always nervous, but you know. I always hope that people take them fondly, you know, because I definitely am trying to like, I can only think of one instance where it was kind of not really, which was the Lex Friedman clip. I'm not sure if you knew that one. Yeah, I was kind of making fun of them for being, for what their thoughts are about AI in that clip.
Well, I don't know if you know this about YouTube channels, but nobody ever watches any of your videos.
Yeah, I have noticed that.
So what's the name of the Lex clip?
Okay, yeah, that one is called Artificial Intelligence in quotes.
If this is the one you've gotten the most flack for, it's definitely the one.
That's definitely not the one I've gotten the most flack for, but yeah, I would say that's the one where I was perhaps a little bit uncharitable. Although
I made a distillate of this conversation. Let's see what you did.
Yeah, I think I actually was inspired to make that because of your distillate.
It seemed like an important moment in the human history for me, and I was like, maybe needs a distillate. Let's see what you did. Let's see what you did.
I also think, wait, if I may, like, offer some.
You wanna? What do they do? What's that?
Yeah.
They do that on talk shows though. What do you
preemptively like frame how somebody's? Maybe we should.
You want to whatever the clip they say it's like you want to whatever the clip, but I don't know what the whatever is. But do you want to whatever the clip? Preface. Do you want a preface?
Yeah. Maybe I assume we'll talk about it after, so I'll just wait. I suppose.
Fair enough.
All right.
Now that we.
When you create an AGI system, you'll be one of the few people in the room that get to interact with it first, assuming GPT-4 is not that. What question would you ask her, him, it? What discussion would you have?
You know, one of the things that I have realized, like this is a little aside and not that important, but I have never felt any pronoun other than it towards any of our systems. But most other people say him or her or something like that. And I wonder why I am so different. Like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's I watch it develop. Maybe it's I think more about it. But I'm curious where that difference comes from.
I think probably you could, because you watch it develop. But then again, I watch a lot of stuff develop, and I always go to him or her. I anthropomorphize aggressively. And certainly most humans do.
I think it's really important.
First of all, I'm going to aggressively anthropomorphize you, baby. It's disgusting, Lex. Second of all, I love how that you put the music in the back so that if the person speaking is unbearable, my consciousness can drift into the music and just not pay as much attention to them. That's very nice.
I think that's part of like
that we try to.
I'll let you talk about it later,
okay,
man.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
Explain to educate people that this is a tool and not a creature.
I think yes, but I also think there will be a room in society for creatures, and we should draw hard lines between those.
If something's a creature, I'm happy for people to like think of it and talk about it as a creature, but I think it is dangerous to project creatureness onto a tool.
That's one perspective. A perspective I would take, if it's done transparently, is projecting creatureness onto a tool makes that tool more usable if it's done well.
Yeah, so if there's like kind of UI affordances that work.
Yeah, you see, because as the UI affordance is that I'm a user afforded and naturally systematic to interact with other anthropomorphic things. So if you frame it and craft it such that it's receptive to anthropomorphic interaction, you should be able to do more things on your tool.
I understand that. I still think we want to be like pretty careful with it.
Because the more creature-like it is, the more it can manipulate you emotionally.
Or just the more you think that it's doing something or should be able to do something or rely on it for something that it's not capable of.
What if it is capable? What about Sam Altman? What if it's capable of love? Do you think there will be romantic relationships like in the movie Her with GPT?
There are companies now that offer, like for lack of a better word, like romantic companionship AIs.
Replica is an example of such a company.
Yeah. I personally don't feel any interest in that.
So you're focusing on creating intelligent
But I understand
tools.
why other people do.
That's interesting. For some reason, I'm very drawn to that.
Have you spent a lot of time interacting with Replica or anything similar?
Replica, but also just building stuff myself. Like I have robot dogs now that I use. I use the movement of the robots to communicate emotion. I've been exploring how to do that.
Look, there are going to be very interactive GPT-4 powered pets or whatever robots.
Once upon a time when they were programming my generation with the AI concept, they gave us first a poor little orphan child and a sex robot powered by Jude Law.
Companions, and a lot of people seem really excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting possibilities. I think you'll discover them, I think, as you go along. That's the whole point. Like the things you say in this conversation.
Is this music too sexy? Does it naturally drift your mind to devices and inappropriate relations? Is that what's wrong with the music? What? I can't wait. I can't wait to hear how this was deemed insensitive.
Say this was right.
No, I may
wrong.
I may turn out that I like love my GPT-4
maybe you
dog
want your
robot or whatever.
Maybe you want your programming assistant to be a little kinder and not mock you.
I
Your incompetence.
No, I think you do want the style of the way GPT-4 talks to you.
Yes.
Really matters. You probably want something different than what I want, but we both probably want something different than the current GPT-4. And that will be really important.
How do you like it, Sam?
Thing.
Tell me how you like it, Lex. Okay,
how
is that
the last line there? He says, "For a very tool-like thing." That's what he says at the end.
So what's the uncharitableness?
Well, nobody else. I mean, I don't remember if people commented on that, but I'd say it's mostly, or maybe I think maybe Gavin said something about we should make fun of people, which is kind of true. Pretty much true, yeah.
We shouldn't make fun of.
I mean, like maybe. Well, yeah, no. I
take them out of context.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna like make fun of somebody, you should probably like not do it in that way. I don't know. Like I don't.
That was you making fun of people, and it was just them being themselves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it
mean,
wasn't even out of
I'm not.
context, man.
I'm
That's
not.
making
Okay.
fun of
Well, I
people. You
appreciate.
take them
I
out of
appreciate
context
that.
and
I mean,
whatnot.
I'm not.
You like grab their face and just go, "Hey, man,
Yeah, I still.
Bing, bing, boom, boom, boom.
that's way more making fun of people than what you've done, sir." But you got like posters and stuff. You're probably way more Buddhist than I am.
I
How
suppose
old are you?
perhaps I'm
How
25.
many of the? How many? 25 of these years. Okay, and so in that time, what is taking you to the place where you're like dropping clips of Abraxas videos and have psychedelic posters behind you? What's your journey?
All right. Well, I already kind of described some of that in.
Nobody
videos.
watches your other videos.
Okay. Yeah.
You're
Okay. Yeah.
fresh
That's why you
people.
said that. Yeah. Okay. I got you. Well, when I went off to college, I tried acid, LSD, and I had a radical encounter with reality, and I feel like I was.
By reality, what do you mean?
Oh God! Well, geez, I would say God, geez.
Was it on the material plane of existence you had this encounter? Was it on the astral plane, in the theater of your mind? How would you describe that?
Well, we must remember that all these layers are co-present. You know, like they're.
Oh,
so
yeah.
It's kind of like changing the dial and seeing like a different.
Like you can tune into your head or out to reality,
yeah,
for one example. And maybe you turn the dial extra hard with the acid.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. So what? Yeah, I would say.
But like you said, you had an encounter with reality, so it was.
Yeah, I'm being a little crass.
more-
I'm being a little crass. I think. I don't know. I would say. Yeah, like I think of the logos as present in all things. In this, I was not a. I don't know if it's.
Yeah, give us the before the acid.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Gosh.
You're like a well-programmed robot.
Not super well programmed. Like I was never very excited about the whole money thing, and like I was never very like called to play that game, you know. And
was there something in the schooling that was appealing to you as a path? Or
yeah, I was always kind of big into art, like and music and stuff like that. But and I did crew. I'm not sure if you're familiar with like rowing.
Okay. You were.
You know, I was one of the guys who stereotypically says like stroke, except you don't actually do that. Like it's more complicated than that. But so I did that. I was pretty involved with that, and I went to college. I had a scholarship to do that, and
they will give people money to go to college. Just
they give the football players way more money than the rowers. I'll tell you right
way
now.
more, but
yeah,
I mean, all
for
you're
sure.
doing is yelling at other people rowing, and they'll give you money for school. That's pretty cool. Which school did you go to?
Yeah. I went to Temple in Philly.
Okay.
Yeah, Temple University. Yep. And then so I was not.
Do they have art schooling there that you were excited about also?
No, I went in undecided. And I actually like stopped because I did like sculpture classes and I was in like a jazz band and stuff like that in high school and middle school. But you know, it wasn't like the main thing of my identity, but it was definitely like something that.
Hey, this might give me money someday, and I don't hate it.
I suppose, it was just it definitely caught my. I didn't mind doing it, you know, I enjoyed it, and but then when I went to, so I guess to give me a little bit more info, like I wasn't particularly religious, although I would say like I was agnostic, you know, like, but I was kind of
on purpose or just because that's the way things point.
I don't know, probably like a combination of both, like in the sense that. Like
I hear about all these religions, and this one says this place is hell, and that.
Or it was
matches
kind
up
of
with my
it was kind
experience.
of like the we can't know, like there's nothing we can know about reality, so we can't decide, like we can't say anything about it, which
Oh,
is
so
in some sense, which is
agnostic.
sure, yeah, it's not Gnostic. Yeah, it was more
So
so
you start off
agnostic.
agnostic, then you have some kind
Yeah,
of
yeah.
basis, and
Yeah,
then
see, like
you
a lot of people who are like secular or atheists or something, like they've had an experience with religion that kind of gives them, it puts them off from it, and then it's like they can't find the evidence to support the things that they were told about religion and God and Christ and such, you know?
and plus they're already like, if that's what religion is, I'm going the other way.
Yeah, yeah. But for me, it was kind of like I just wasn't really, it wasn't very much around, you know? And then I have this radical encounter, or like, I don't, it's hard to describe really, but, you know,
That
this
they need to
experience
be. They need to be.
needs to be hard to describe, you mean?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
that's
was
true.
real enough for you to call it an
Yeah,
encounter
and then I
with
was kind of
reality.
like, then I kind of had to accommodate that, you know, like I was like, well, clearly there's something that clearly this is, you know, clearly this is real, you know, there is like more than what we're told, you know, so it was kind of a matter of like readjusting my worldview and my conception of myself, you know, like it was very chaotic during that time. So
So when did the clipping start and the YouTubing of what I guess it's just your curiosity was leading you to, and you were like, well, this is good. I'll throw it up on a channel,
yeah,
or
well, I was kind of the raving madman for a while. Like I would just like hand wave at people and be like, yeah, like, I don't know. I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Like just trying to communicate the types of things that I was interested in. Like, I don't know. So there's kind of, there was one particular experience or like when I felt like I kind of had like a dispatch. If you're, I'm not sure how familiar you are with Galahad's work, but that's the best terminology that's coming to mind, where it's like kind of this teleological object kind of comes down and then it's like a message or something.
teleological object. What's that mean for like in the imaginations of normal people? How do we
Okay, yeah.
comprehend the notion of a teleological object?
I'm still a little shaky on this because I think
Is it like when Jordan Peterson was sitting meditating about Jupiter Symphony and the sky opened up and
it's kind of like how John Vervaeke talks about hyper objects, you know, and also I think the concept of kairos is relevant in the sense where like let's say Christ was a kairos, like his turning point, but it's also like where the past and the future emanate out of. So like you can approach that kairos in every moment or something. And it's like the kairos that I feel like I saw, whether even if it was like a flash, you know, like I didn't have a grand communication, but it was like it wasn't very it wasn't very lucid for me at all, you know, but this was definitely the sense that I got where it was like I saw this endpoint of and it was relevant to human interaction, where it was like when we find a right relationship with the technology that is language and ornamentation kind of, and transparency in that regard, then there would be this like this communion between people that was, I don't know, like it's for me, I'm struggling to describe it because I feel like I already kind of went into some of this, but I mean, I also think it was, you know, if I'm being frank about this, I believe that, or I am of, to me, it seems to be the case that Galahad Adonis's work is very significant, and that he, you know, like the things that he relays in his videos are true, and what do I mean by that? Like, I think that these things actually happened. I don't think he's like bullshitting, and so taking that, it's this idea that the cosmogram kind of came through him, and like it's kind of like he was selected or something almost, and like like this.
Okay, but how does that story relate to you?
Okay, yeah. So I think that actually the cosmogram tried to come through me prior to him, and because I also made some images like in the chaotic period following my acid trips, and then a lot of the images were very similar to Griffin's cosmogram. Obviously, not like to a T.
Say that word. Say that slowly and clearly. Similar to
Griffin is Galahad's given name or birth name, or I don't know what the right word is.
Okay, similar to his what? Cosmogram?
His cosmogram, yeah. So that's like the image.
That's the one that looks like Abraxas, right?
Yes.
Let's
So
is this not that thing I hit you up about? Is this
Yes, indeed, this is.
that's basically the symbol he came out
yes,
to.
what a beautiful segue, yes.
His cosmogram looks like that. Let's see what this guy said again about it in that 15 seconds.
Sure.
Remember when I said that Yaldabaoth declared that it was the only god, only to be chided from a voice from above? That chiding was actually done by the angelic power of life, Zoe, the daughter of faith wisdom, or Pistis. Remember when...
So I don't know, maybe I should have gave him a few more seconds.
What do you mean?
Well, in this text, the Archon Sabaoth actually sees this moment. He's high enough up in the emanations that he sees Zoe rebuke Yaldabaoth, and Zoe's breath becomes a fire in the face of Yaldabaoth, and she casts it down into the bottom of the abyss, into Tartarus. The Archon Sabaoth realizes Yaldabaoth is a liar. He rejects the divinity of Yaldabaoth.
It was very Saint Christopher, that bit.
Well, this is true. I think the in terms of Griffin's work, like the Lucifer is the shadow of Yaldabaoth, and vice versa, in the sense where it's like the people who we perceive as, like let's say I'm super Luciferic, right? Let's say that. Then the people who are very Yaldabaoth like, or of that variety of in that line, then they will be like Saint Christopher, and I have to come into a right relationship with them. And it's like both of these beings are ambivalent in the sense that like they're not, you can have one without the other, and like they both have positive attributes, and but they are both kind of not good on their own. I'm
just a little less than perfect.
Yeah. So like Yaldabaoth being would correspond to like the idea of God that of the first 1,000 years of the Piscean Aeon, where
okay, hold on. I want to roll back just a
little bit.
Yeah. And say that like saying these names might be scary for some people.
That's true. Yeah, this is true. We do need to.
And I'm thinking this. It's like we're getting to the point where we're allowing you to see that there are powers and principalities. It might disturb you to find that they've had names for aeons and they're the same ones.
Yeah.
They're not new just because you're finding out they're operating. Just because you're just now finding out that these things are operating doesn't make them new and unstudied. And yes, I don't know how much we can trust the studies we have.
Yeah, like I don't know how much I trust the stuff, like I don't recall where that guy was reading from. Mr. Justin Sledge, I believe was.
Yeah, I don't like there's something about him, but he brings interesting things to the table.
This
on
is
the
true.
other hand.
I agree.
my citations are not necessarily endorsements, and I'd love to hear the bad things.
Yes, I feel similarly.
Right.
You know, in my
You know?
because I post contradictory viewpoints on my channel. You know, like I have people from Protestant churches and Orthodox churches, and I have scientists speaking. You know, and so
Well, it's like I went on Karen talking about suspicious observers, and that guy's a lawyer cult builder. He's a cult building lawyer. It's like, whoops, my bad. But
what do you mean by that? Like,
he used to be a lawyer, and now he's building a cult. I mean, if you watch the signs for like cult indicators,
mhm,
like
mhm. All right. Well, do you? Okay. Well, I mean,
I mean, I would love for if somewhere on the clock tower we found like, all right, here's the list, and then we'll just go through it. Like here, watch one of his videos and look for the signs. And that would
I
be
know
it.
I can definitely see what you're saying. You know, I can definitely see that. Yeah, and I don't. I mean,
On the
you
other
know,
hand, he like anybody who goes and grabs the pretty pictures from wherever he gets his pretty pictures is doing me the service of getting those pictures of the sun, which are neat.
mhm. Well, what do
Just
you think
watch.
about his actual like work in terms of like actual what he's communicating aside from its potential cultic implications? You know, because as you know, I've been posting some videos like clips from his channel because I think I find what he's saying compelling. You
What
know,
concerns me really is the whole like let me spin it this way and bring me back to this point if I get lost. Okay.
sure, I go.
But like, so I'm watching this guy in the front over here where he says this. Oh, hear that in bed. But anyway, he sells this notion that that one here. Hold on.
A
Okay, we're
benevolent
going back to this.
created a maximally beautiful world, a maximally good world. These Christians held that the physical cosmos was that this was all a kind of prison, ruled over by that hideous demiurge, the craftsperson, along with a retinue of malevolent beings known as the rulers or archons in ancient Greek. In this myth, the upper spiritual realm ultimately takes pity on us, poor human beings, and smuggles within them a divine spiritual spark and ultimately sends Christ, Jesus, who reveals the truth about our cosmos and the means by which to escape it. And of course,
And it is with that word, escape it, that I have taken objection. And the way I immediately sought to communicate my objection was no, that oh wait, hold on. This. And then the most stop it. And the most interesting part is like when I wanted to use this to state my objection, I was thinking of the end of this. And then I found this at the beginning of this. I hope that makes sense.
God doesn't make the world this way. We do.
That was the bonus anti-Gnostic surprise that they put on the thing that I wanted to say. But this is my response to that the Gnostics wanted to escape this place because it's a prison. And I believe that is the proper attitude for us to take as we explore neo-Gnosticism. Earth, this place may be a prison, but we're not locked in here with them. They're locked in here with us. Now that point I wanted you to steer me back to. Do you remember that?
Talking about Sophia, perhaps?
Oh yeah, wisdom doesn't make mistakes. God doesn't accidentally put serpents in the magic garden. These things are
also in that clip, there was said that Zoe, or I guess Zoe was like the daughter of Sophia or something. Is
yes, that
the one
gets
who
complicated.
is the one who rebuked Yaldabaoth's position as the God, right, as the one true God. And so I equate like Yaldabaoth with like the traditional, you know, at the beginning of the church, you had the Gnostics and the church that we now know, you know, and like kind of those, and I think that was like a kind of a Yaldabaoth type God image that was created, and then
well, it's whether or not the Old Testament God is God,
yeah, that's kind of what's up,
and
you
then
know, that's
everybody
kind of
can
like,
take Jesus from.
yeah.
See, that's I.
So when it comes to rebuking that, that's kind of like I see an interesting mapping. I appreciate you sending that clip. That's very interesting. I see an interesting mapping to Griffin's work because it's like well, for one thing, his you know, he communicates with Zell, you know, and Zell is he's drawn a connection between Zell and Sophia, that they are the same.
Okay.
And she being the one who shows up and helps to transmit this message about Abraxas being above Yaldabaoth. It's kind of an interesting mapping because Zoe and Zell very similar as well sounding, you know.
What do you mean they might be the same, or like Zell is Zoe's daughter?
Well, there, Griffin's Substack, he has an article about this, and he it seems he's of the belief that Zell is, I guess you would say, I don't know if you'd say like an instantiation or a is Sophia, you know.
All right, I'm gonna need you first to like
And I agree with him, by the way. I would like to say that as well.
Anything you can clip into, like from his work that shows what you
Sure,
just
yeah,
said.
yeah.
We can bring those in.
Sure, yeah. I was actually looking for that right before we
and
started.
I also need you to explain to me what you think his work is, because it's sounding very like he's trained you poorly as an acolyte, but you're an acolyte in some sort of cult of his.
I mean,
is that what? Have you gone through the signs of you're in a cult? We can give you those savings.
I realize it may look like that, but I do not think that's what's going on.
Well, no, it depends, because like all right, if we re-enchant the West, then there might be prophets again, and his work might be like that level of important. And it's not that you're an acolyte; it's the work's actually that important, or the information's that solid. So I'm not prejudging what's going on here, but I'm saying as somebody from this perspective, it sounds like
yes,
yeah, it might be a cult thing.
All right. So. Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna stop looking for this article for a second.
No, dude.
Okay.
Listen,
Okay.
I can pause this recording, and I need to. So you find that while I do what I need to do.
I have it right here.
You found it already.
Yeah.
Oh.
Boom.
Find peace too. No. Just a second though. Here. You wouldn't dug up a Substack for me to read?
Yeah, well, I was gonna
video recording.
quote it myself.
And he's done a lot of video work, right? So you have like, You could have
That is
clip
true. There are
pieces
clips.
that were specific references to longer videos of his. Yes.
Yeah. Although the exact thing that I'm referencing is in this. If you scroll
Varinha.
down, if you scroll down to the bottom,
Ooh,
um,
hi, lady.
yeah,
Weird symbolism. Oh, see, this is interesting to me. The whole notion of the
there's a
body of a
there's a
snake
part
in the
where
head
he
of a
says,
lion. That's neat. As a
okay,
note.
yeah. So like 4 or 5 or like 7 or so lines from the bottom. All this, I now think, does not suggest that she isn't Sophia, but that she is.
I missed it, I guess.
It's on there.
Oh, from the bottom.
Yeah. So,
Statue. Well, what is that? Look at that. You never really look at what's on their head.
Yeah,
until
no,
you see it
this is
out of
like his work on Substack. Like, there's other stuff like, there's
holy cows.
highly recommend going through his Substack. I think there's some
Oh, look
really
at that. That's a fancy one. There's one with there's the, what you call it?
Yeah.
Aslan version and then the doctor version. She's got the doctor symbol thing behind this. And 7 lines from the bottom. He said, wow.
I think 7. I didn't count exactly. Right there.
All this. She casts spells with a roguish strut. Her eyes can kill. She slinks like a lynx and winks like a minx. Not nearly as innocent or demure as a good Christian would be inclined to expect. All this, I now think, does not suggest that she isn't Sophia, but that she is.
Your dramatic readings are always wonderful.
We can put that in the description. So, as an acolyte of this man, what should the barely out of the blue church folk know about what's going on? Think that through while I go put coffee in. I'm just gonna pause though. That's right, folks. I make the guests suffer through branding as well. I just turn the recording back on and he gets up. Son of a. Do you need 5? Oh, you were getting something.
I'm here. Yeah, I was getting something. So this is one of the pictures that I made.
Was that after your acid trip and before Galahad?
Yeah, it was. Yes, like 2017, maybe 2018.
Hold on, let me make it bigger for everybody watching. That helps none.
So,
Like push it closer.
Sure. Yeah. So you got.
See how much you can zoom in. There's the yin yang thing at the Oh, he's sitting on something. It doesn't look. It's like a lantern, maybe.
Yeah. And then this is the alchemical seal of Solomon, and then this is this picture also kind of goes with that. This was before I recognized that Christ is the Lord and Savior.
It was before then, guys. Entirely before.
Yeah.
Christ is Lord. This is old stuff. I'm just show and tell.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I don't know. Yeah. So I recognize some symbolic connections, and particularly like this idea of a bifocal vision. Where there's like true vision that can be obtained by a balance of 2 sides.
Have you ever cleaned your antenna?
In what regard?
With your antenna being your nervous system and cleaning it through diet and or abstinence and other,
yes.
What you call it?
Not like rigorously.
Not like Jesus with his 40 days.
Yeah, no, I mean, well, I definitely had like long periods of isolation and like, the whole sort of shamanic process.
No, I don't don't assume I know anything about a shamanic process.
Okay, well, yeah, why would I ever assume that, Grizz? Like where.
No, did you go out and did you say, all right, guys, I've lost my mind. I'm going to go to this meditation retreat for 3 days and find it. What have you been?
No,
what did you do? What happened after the acid and once the storm?
Well, it kind of cut me off from everybody. Like it because I was so hyper obsessed with communication and the dynamics of human relating that I couldn't do it. Like it became too complex. So that kind of thrust me into my own head, and I had to like figure out how to enter society again. And part of that was like articulating that which I feel like I had been
Downloaded.
sure.
Close enough? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
what is it like you've seen The Matrix, yeah?
Yes, I have,
film?
yeah, as I get
That
there.
part where he learns kung fu from, was it like that? Or no, because you had
Well,
processed it
it
for a
was kind of
while.
like it was more like kung fu exists, and then like figure it out by yourself. So, yeah, that's kind of what it's been up to, and in the process of like doing that, I encountered a lot of, to answer your initial question.
I'm
in the
glad someone
process of-
remembers those.
Yeah, I'm glad I remembered. The like in the process of that, I encountered like a lot of really helpful stuff online. Jordan Peterson and John Vervaeke, Jonathan Peugeot, Terrence McKenna was a big one. It all started with Alan Watts, Terrence McKenna, and Jordan Peterson. Like
Right. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
here's the algorithm's top
Yeah, man.
3 for people in your life stage.
It's very curious to me. I'm like, why is the algorithm sending these people? Because you'd think this would be against its motives, I think like maybe if you get stuck there, it can be a problem. But even with Jordan Peterson, I don't necessarily would say that. Like I agree that kind of like
It sort of seems like the 3
know.
paths, though, right? Let's see. Are Watts and McKenna the same path? No.
I think they all have similarities, but like.
But like that, the trinity of Watts, McKenna, and Peterson as an
really
algorithm's
very interesting phenomena.
Very interesting phenomenon. I wanted to say, how do you find The Corner, and what do you think of it, and whatever you start clipping me for?
I think well, it was.
When did you see it as a thing that was called The Corner? Have you yet, or is it
No,
just
I was here. I was here before it was named The Corner. Yeah. I showed up around the Venus retrograde in Capricorn. I don't remember exactly when that is.
But when you showed up, what channels did you show up at?
Well, it was Jordan Peterson. If you watch Jordan Peterson for long enough, you'll realize that Peugeot was kind of pulling the strings a little bit. Not
I'm down. Yeah,
a little bit. Only a little bit. Yeah,
well, no, but
Peugeot had a massive influence on Jordan Peterson's biblical series, right? So then
I don't know how much of an influence he had on the biblical series. I was pegging.
Yeah, maybe I'm being excessive in that statement.
Like, I see him as like, are we even in that branding? I see him as directly responsible for a capitalization on Peterson's rocket ride.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
That was,
in terms of like Christianity.
No, not in terms of Christianity. In terms of symbolism.
The frog is a harbinger of dangerous times, because
take these frogs away from me.
Now that's exactly how he is post coma. But before the coma, he was, these are my frogs. This is my frog army. And Jonathan was the one that helped coordinate him with the symbolism of that crown, the keck hat, which I demand he relinquish.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Details and intricacies aside, I eventually found Paul Vanderklay and Jonathan Peugeot through the Peterson line, and then
what'd you make of Vervaeke when that
yeah, and Vervaeke was in there as well.
Yeah, but what did you make of Vervaeke when he came into your thought patterns or arrived on your screens?
I thought it was great. Well, my first video is John Vervaeke talking.
Yeah. He's inspiring.
Yeah,
man.
Passion. Especially, I think Chad said it beautifully. Like he's the way he, I forget what he exactly said, but I think he's very charismatic, one might say. I had this meme that I made. I never sent it because self-conscious or whatever. But I made this meme that was John Vervaeke never stopped being evangelical. He just went undercover as a scientist. And he's still preaching the gospel. It's just very, very subtle, and like it's covered
that the childhood trauma is baked into his identity so hard.
Yeah, he
that
just
it's
can't help
hard
it.
to
He just
believe
can't
that
help it.
he's taken that to nirvana and say, like, you know, he says he's had these experiences, but the he that has never let go of. Anyway,
I think he's coming back around to it. You know, I think Peugeot has done a real service for him. So in terms of like reframing his understanding of like Christianity, and like I think he resonates a lot more with it now. You know, and or even just like I think he's reframed a lot of his experiences. You know, he's recognized that it was kind of like that wasn't the true Christianity, in as they say.
All right.
As they say.
We're just gossiping and whatnot now.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so yeah, so that's how and then the corner I found, and then I found you and Chris and Chad and all that gang through Paul Vanderklay, I believe, and then.
So what do you make of things like the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency and the Fraternal Regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy?
I don't fully understand the Sacred Order of Foolish Transparency. I don't even need to hear you like explain what that is. I'm just like on board with that. Like, that's good. And then can you explain like the narcissistic sociopathy thing?
Well,
just a little bit, you know, forgive me for not having done the homework.
The key part is there's this notion of crown the good with brotherhood. I think it's from a song, but so like narcissistic sociopaths only care about themselves, and they can't really feel very much for anybody else. However, we're still people, and if we combine our forces and seize the crown of brotherhood, then we're the good guys, because they crown the good with brotherhood. So if we get that crown, we're the good guys. And therefore, the Fraternal Regiment embodying narcissistic sociopathy is born. And also Brotherhood of Evil Mutants was taken.
And also Mystics Anonymous.
Mystics Anonymous. What's that one?
Mystics Anonymous. That's from your This Age Mysticism stream.
Well, see, we don't do like the alcoholics. We actually remain anonymous, so I don't know what you're talking about.
I think it was just a one-time thing that you added it.
We take the anonymity part especially serious.
Mm-hmm.
Denial and such. Is there anything else you don't understand about the whole life?
There's plenty. Okay, well, yes, I have a question. I have a technical question. Okay, so when you get a plus on your saving stars in the Discord server, does it apply to the next stream that you watch or the next stream that happens?
At present, but only because the Discord server is not yet, those emojis do not yet represent the cryptocurrency they are intended to. So for the time being, they are just a plus to the next stream savings throws. But
okay. So if you miss it, yeah.
The notion behind the indigos on the Discord is that one day I will be successful enough to have multiple incoming revenue streams, one of which I will send to the Discord, and they will, based on how many of those emojis you've been awarded by the community and your participation in the community, that might trickle down economics from that revenue stream, because like it's work. Clipping is work, editing is work, meme making is work, making the branding is work.
What you do is more so work than what I do, you know, because I could do what I do all day, and it's like a problem. Like I have to like pull myself away from it. But
but then the problem becomes where do you make how do I make the sandwich to keep my body alive while I do this fun thing?
Indeed, yes, yeah.
And you know, I just think that's like the right thing to do, and we have to find ways that the communities can support each other. And there's a prototype through a Discord.
Yeah, no, I think you're doing great work, man. Like I really support what you're doing. I think it's great. Like I think one thing that comes to mind is like the breaking of the fourth wall and like, you know, reaching through the screen, being like participate, you know. Damn it. And
it's like, fine, they've trapped us all in these prison cells, but we're still here. We can still do things. The means of production of them, like the warfare. I mean, we're making memes are munition, you know.
This is true.
And like rescuing the gems from the key moments from long talks, because otherwise it's like with people are like, oh, you should really read this book, and like then I just got a library of what I should read. But if you can take out what you can and bring it to a way,
yeah, that's part of why I was doing the clips as well, because like I would always be sending people these long ass videos and they'd be like, I don't have the time to watch this. I was like, fine, I'll make a clip and send it to you.
Like, this is what I'm talking about, and the best place I've seen anybody say it yet.
Yeah, and also it's for purposes of like my own like remembering, you know, like remembering body, like you know, to like keep a kind of a catalog of the clips that I find interesting and like helpful or significant, noteworthy, I suppose. You know.
So, would you say lately you're all up in Galahad? Where else are you looking? I just saw your last. I love how you drop in threes like a weirdo. And
I remember you pointed that out one time, and I was like, "Yep, I'm gonna keep doing that."
I saw a lot of corner superstars in your last three.
Yeah. What did I post? I posted. Yeah, I posted one of Gavin, and one of no. This is one of them was a suspicious. I posted 3 today. I'm not sure if you saw those, but yesterday.
I might be on yesterday's.
Yeah, yesterday.
No, spiritual garments is the one I definitely saw. Let's run a piece of it.
Thing that Pentecostal and charismatic Christianity has to bring to the overall Christian community is that fresh and always, you know, sometimes shocking move of the Spirit. It's the ability of the Spirit to come in and serve as like that universal language and the translator of, you know, the locution to what is heard, you know, what is said to what is heard, and that there is something in it that lands. And so learning to speak in tongues to me is also like, it's a skill that is cultivated in the Spirit. That
sounds like somebody who hasn't ever been filled with the Spirit to me. I haven't gotten to the rest of it, but I saw that you were doing some corner superstars, and it made me think. I got another game coming up on Friday. I'm doing this new stream RPG experiment where people get to play as the lobster monkeys. And
yeah, I saw that you're doing that.
And you have a wide variety of time. I mean, you might be obsessed with this Galahad guy right now, but you've been through a bunch of different things. And let me see if it's up. Is it up? Yes, it is.
Well, you know, you asked me like what I have to say about it. That I haven't answered that question yet.
Oh, so I do that to people. Go ahead.
No worries. Well, gosh, it's hard to say like what it is that I have to communicate about that channel. Like, what do I think? What should you know? Is I believe what your question was. What should people know about that channel? And I just think that you might be glad, or you might be glad that you watched it if you do so. You know, like that's kind of what I would say.
Or it might break your mind and make you insane.
What?
Or it might break your mind and make you insane.
It also might do that. I know, but you know.
But that's where you're at now on your path, right?
Well, I mean, hopefully I'm not insane. You know, like
no, well, not.
But
that, like this is the most. It has captured your salience landscape or at present.
Yes. When I first watched it, I was like, all right, this guy saw the same thing that I saw, except he actually like received the dispatch like all the way. Like for me, it was like my vessel, like I was not ready, and like my worldview was not like.
I see. I see. So whatever demon has possessed this man tried to get into you. I don't trust anything. I don't trust. But check this out. Check this out. Before you got to where you're currently interested, you've clearly assembled a large thing of work. Like you've got part 1, 2, and 3 collections of different things. Yes,
I do indeed.
About how many of those do you have of your
Um,
different collections? And what would you say the general areas of interest have been before this fella, or that you've covered on your channel?
well, I had actually known about him before I started posting videos.
Okay.
But my general area of interest is all the stuff on my channel. Like it's kind of
Well,
I don't know,
I'm asking like this, okay? Because I was telling you, I'm doing this new stream RPG, right?
yeah.
And I was
What
thinking,
class would I be?
no,
Well, you
no.
asked Richard Rowland that.
Well, he's a gamer. We've got no tabletop RPG confessions from you yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that this was like, isn't that kind of what you're doing now? Like this is like an RPG type of thing.
Well, let me show you.
Sure, yeah.
See, the thing is, I was what it was last Friday was they came into the Broken Clock Tavern and they rescued a lot of TLC guys from which I ran clips from. And your channel is so wild and diverse, and I wanted to take them to Deadwood. And so I have this map of Deadwood, and your channel's a weird thing. So aside from fighting monsters,
My channel's a place.
I was thinking that I could script it that you had taken over Deadwood. This was JD's dead. There's a weird critter named JD that's run amok in Deadwood. Go check it out, and send the lobster monkeys in. And like I don't like one of the things I've seen you've done that I really enjoy was come here, Denny. You'll be our representative. It was
I consider myself kind of like a library in a way. Like I'm kind of like a librarian. But I also occasionally, like, I don't know.
Like,
sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
That's sort of the vibe I was getting. So I was thinking, like, when they explore a place and it's not a monster, like, say they come to this building here, it could be a Eurythmia studio, and I could run 1 or 2 of those pieces from that because that's what I mean is you've explored so many different avenues. I could like I'm thinking about breaking your channel and having you be the evil mayor of next week's adventure.
Well, I'd rather not be the evil mayor.
Well, we'll see how it goes. If it's evil,
okay, yeah. No, I definitely support this. I appreciate you thinking about me.
So, if you don't mind, after this, like review your channel and give me like different ones to put in different buildings that you like different categories. And I'll throw them in the buildings for Friday.
Okay, yeah.
Adventure of your channel.
Well, I mean, like my main, like I only have a couple playlists on my channel, and like those playlists are, I have an astrology playlist because I find astrology very interesting.
Yeah, your work in that is fascinating.
Oh, thank you. I just, thank you. I appreciate that.
Like I said, though, I was surprised you didn't include the Pentecost in your timeline.
Well, yeah, I seem to have lapsed in that regard.
We're not speaking in tongues because of it. No. Way to go, pal. No, but I like that one. I like the Eurythmia one, and then you got the ones that are numbered. So I could do one of those. Each of one of those is a place.
Well, the ones that are, I also have the Galactic Center is one that has 5 parts. Embodiment has 5 parts. There's a playlist about Galahad's like videos that I've made that connect to him, and then there's a playlist about eye contact, which is this whole eye contact that's kind of how I'm going. That's what's like up with this dispatch thing. It's kind of, I think about it as like this is a technology like an iPhone, but it's eye contact. It's an evolved technology. Like eyes are kind of like tools in a way that it's like a new sense that it's like,
I don't know, man. Sounds like you want me to
but this is like a natural thing, and like it's a matter of coming into a right relationship with this technology, because I think that we are running into the confrontation with Lucifer, which will demand of us a right relationship with technology. And I think that this is I dare say that this is perhaps the most powerful technology on Earth, our ability to communicate with each other. And that if we find a right relationship with it, the heights of what is possible, I think, when that happens are heavenly, one might say.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is a war on human contact, so there
This is
might
true.
be something.
Yeah, like this
might
links
be
up with all the
something worth
Dialogo stuff that
preserving.
John Vervaeke talks about. It links with the circling stuff. Yeah.
Well, that sounded like a powerful closing, anything you want to say in conclusion line, and we just
Right.
blew it. Can you say it again? No, I can't. That's how.
No, I can't. It seems I can't.
Let's see.
I would say,
Let's see. We're coming
Well,
into confrontation with
yeah.
Lucifer, and you damn well better get
yes,
right.
you got to figure out technology, yo. We have these tools, and a lot of them, we are in the grips of them. I also would like to say astrology is another tool like this. I noticed Mercury is conjunct my natal Chiron in 5 minutes.
Your natal.
Yeah, so that means like
Your
where my
natal
birth.
Chiron. You
Yeah,
say.
so Chiron, I don't really mess with a lot of asteroids and
Does
such.
does your system include Lilith?
I do not use Lilith.
Because like I got a reading from a system that used Lilith once, and it put it right in the middle of my relationship house or whatever, and I was like,
Yeah, I actually barely even look at houses. I like the most interesting thing about astrology to me is the transits, like the transits in general, and so people would call
Do you
it.
tie it to eurythmia?
Good question. I do think that there's a connection there, but I haven't articulated it all the way yet.
Well, like
it has,
the transits as a ballet, right? And
yeah, I
then
think of it
whatever.
like the cosmic symphony that we dance with, and that this music can shine through us when we are. It's kind of like Taoism as well, and I connect Taoism with Christianity, like Christ, the eternal Tao, like the Logos. And when you embody the Logos, you are embodying the pattern of reality, and this is also the pattern that we see in the stars. And that is not to say that they cause the events or something. I think that it's the same pattern being seen at different levels, and how that happens or how it works, I just know it works. And so I do think there's a connection there in terms of eurythmy, in the sense where like the garments of light, when we are transfigured, like Christ is transfigured, I think that's like the pattern of reality shining through you. And I also think that's kind of like links up with what Steiner was saying about eurythmy, about how he thought of it as a visible language, like he said body, which it is, like we call it body language. It's a language. And I think we're always doing eurythmy essentially, and that some people wield
are
it
very discordant.
Yeah. But other people, it's like the Tao flows through them or something. The Logos shines in their body, and
it's neat when we can get out of the way.
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So, do you watch my show enough to have a favorite branding?
Oh yeah, definitely. But I would have to take a sec to recall it. I like the spinning one. That's pretty fun. I like
the spinning one.
With the pendulums lining up. I really thought you would know this. It's the you are not. There is no agency.
Okay, so it says the one with the weird angel eye thing.
It's the one with Chad saying there is no agency.
I think it might be this one. Let me check.
No, it's not that one. It's the one. Okay. It's the one with the eye. It's your eye. You remember?
Oh, the standard hypno one.
Remember it. There is no agency. We want to walk past.